So we really need to talk about holding in farts. Yeah, that's today's topic. I'm Lauren Vandermars with Refresh Health, and today I want to talk about why you need to stop holding things in or pushing things out. And I'm talking about urine, feces, and gas. I'm not going to go into childbirth, I don't think, in this video, but I might just touch on it just a little bit because there are some areas that kind of cross over that are interesting. We'll see how we go. Holding things in straight out just weakens your pelvic floor. It's not good for you to hold things in. And as someone who has been, or just for years and years, experienced so much bloating, and guys, I used to work in the fitness industry. Before I was a personal trainer, I was a group fitness instructor. And of course, the fashion then especially was the very tight fitting tops. And I'm standing in front of a group of, I don't know, 30 plus people. I even had classes that I ran. I was so popular with my aqua aerobics that I would have up to 80 people in the one big pool. So I was on show and I got bloated, so bloated. And I used to say that I looked like I was 4 months pregnant. And I knew people were like, oh, you don't even know, you've never had a child. But when I did go through pregnancy, I was watching as the months went by, waiting for my stomach to hit that point as to how bloated I would be, and 4 months was pretty spot on. That's how bloated I would be. And of course, when my stomach would fill up with gas and air, it would also need to come out. And yeah, so I would spend a lot of my time or a lot of my day sucking my stomach in. And it wasn't until I had my son and I went into studying posture and pelvic floor and all these amazing things that I love so much that I learned just how bad it is to hold things in and push things out, because both of those actions will weaken your pelvic floor. More on that in a sec. Most of you probably already know that if you are pushing things out, that could also lead to things like hemorrhoids. So both actions are not ideal. Obviously, sometimes you can't get to a toilet. Sometimes, like in my situation, or there's many situations that you would find yourself in where you can't just drop your guts. But it's very helpful to keep in mind that you need to find a way to, first of all, stop the problem from happening. But it is very good to know, well, I feel, because I feel information is power, that both of those actions are damaging. And so if you're holding things in or pushing things out, you need to change something in your life so that you're not doing either of them, except maybe in extreme circumstances, if you're stuck in the car on a long trip and you just need to get to the next toilet, things like that. So in terms of actions that you can take, if you're finding that you need to push things out, I'm just going to say that I think colon hydrotherapy is probably the most beneficial thing that you could possibly do for yourself, to get the water in there, to help move things along, and to also help exercise your bowel. The second thing that's going to be really beneficial for you to use on a daily basis is what's called a squatty potty. These guys have an incredibly good sense of humor, if you don't mind that sort of humor. So what a squatty potty is it's a little stool that slides in under your toilet, around the toilet bowl, so it can be pushed out of the way. But when you do need to go to the toilet, you can slide it out and pop your feet on top, and then that will lift your knees up. So humans were made to poo in a squatting position. That's how we are engineered and designed and all that stuff, to squat, to poo. Why? Well, I have found the cool little picture here, this one. And you can see this black muscle that kinks around your colon. So that little muscle makes sure that you have some control over your bowels when you're standing up and going about your day. But when we squat, rather, that muscle releases and sort of makes your colon sort of straighten out so you can poo. When we sit on a toilet, even though this might seem a little bit more luxurious rather than squatting, it doesn't release that muscle fully. So it's harder for you to poo. And I'm going to have a link somewhere with this video, my favorite video that the Squatty Potty guys have done. But it's spot on. It explains it really, really clearly. A Squatty Potty is such an easy thing you can have at home, even for people who don't have problems going to the toilet and don't find themselves pushing to get things to move. Everyone should be using them. Humans, like I just said, are designed to squat. That's part of our posture. It's part of our whole body mechanics. And I mentioned birth at the start of the video. When we squat, that's a natural human movement. Our bodies rely on us to squat. We strengthen glute muscles. That helps to keep your pelvis in neutral, helps to birth babies. One of the reasons we find women having so much problems, pushing a baby out is because their pelvis is not in alignment, because they don't squat, because they don't use their glutes, whole body is out of whack. It's really interesting. I love all that stuff. I spent a long time studying it, but I'm not going to go into all of that in this video. So now that I mentioned pregnancy and muscles and glutes, yes, if you're working on your posture, working on alignment, I plan to do videos on this in the future. I don't have them right now ready, but you can do certain exercises and work on your posture. And then of course, all of these things are going to help you to poo, which is a good thing. So you know why you don't want to push things out. Colon hydrotherapy will help. If you can't get yourself to do a colonic, buy yourself an enema kit. It's not anywhere near as effective as what a colonic is, but they're still pretty good. Squatty potties, posture, glutes. Right. So what about gas? Well, that I suppose in and of itself is such a broad topic as to why you would have gas in the first place. And I would recommend speaking to a naturopath or having a look at your diet. Maybe if you can figure out what foods are causing it in the first place. I know for me, I mean, gosh, I had chronic constipation, so that certainly wasn't helping me, but there were certain foods that made it worse. One of them was, I used to eat a lot of dried apricots. This is before I learned as much as I know about food now, and they had, whatever they used to dehydrate them was reacting with me. I didn't know about gluten or wheat intolerance back then, and I was definitely wheat intolerant and eating lots of wheat. So lots of things to look at. So the thing that I noticed about the bloating is, and the constipation for me, is that no matter how much I improved my diet, the constipation never fully went, and so the bloating never fully went either. And it wasn't until I got my first colonic that for the first time in my life, I had a flat stomach like the entire day, as opposed to just parts of the day. So colon hydrotherapy helped me with bloating. And it's certainly one of the things that a lot of my clients have commented on, even just after their first treatment. They've said, you know what, I've got a flat stomach. I don't feel as full. Some people have talked about having 2 stomachs, and they're like, my second stomach's gone. I only have 1 now. So this can be a very effective tool if you are experiencing bloating, so that you don't have to hold gas in, which can weaken your pelvic floor and who knows what else. The other thing that's been really effective for me to use when I'm bloated are essential oils, which I have in the clinic as well. These are so good because I have them in my handbag, and I can use them whenever, wherever throughout the day, which of course you can't really do that with a colonic. So if you want something else that you can keep on your person to help with bloating, ask me about the oils. They are on the website. I do have them in the clinic, so you can grab those. But I really hope that I've convinced you, and you know now that holding things in and pushing things out is not good for you. And you don't need to do it now, because I've given you a whole bunch of tools that you can use so that you don't even need to hold things in or push things out in the first place. I'm Lauren Vandermars with Refresh Health, and today I talked about gas.